You need a stick about that big.
Well, this is about a third of what it was originally. This thing was like this big.
Yeah.
I go through a lot of sage. It was originally. There we go.
I'm just gonna share this out.
It takes a few minutes for people to join. Hi, Sarah. Good morning. How's it going? Hi, Brittany. Good morning. How's it going?
All right.
Trying to get this giant sage doobie lit here. Good morning, Derek. Hi, Jennifer. Nice to see you both. There we go. Good morning. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Jennifer. Are you seeing all the comments popping up for you, Matt?
If I clicked on comments, probably. Oh, there we go. Cool.
There you go.
I'm not really a morning person. I'm
it's
changing
very
that. I'm
early
becoming more
for
and more of a
you.
morning
It is
person.
so nice of you to spend some time with us. This is great coffee with the collective for you, isn't it? It's like 7 o'clock in the morning for you.
Oh no, it's 9 right now.
9? Oh, that's not too bad.
Central.
Where are you located?
In Wisconsin.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice. I've never been to Wisconsin. Not yet, anyway.
Yeah, we got pounded with some snow like a couple days ago. We got like over 26 inches at once. So
oh, really?
Like, been busy with that, and then like other places it's like 90 degrees. I'm like, you know.
Yeah, we had 70-degree weather for about a day. I think it even got to like 76. And then the next day I woke up and there was snow on the ground. And I'm like, Mother Nature is going through some stuff too right now. It's not just us.
Yeah, that tracks, huh?
And it's hard to tell these days whether or not it's natural or something else because everything is so all over the place right now.
Yeah. It's been interesting. Been using that word a lot. Interesting.
Brittany says I'm in Wisco too.
Oh, nice.
I'm in the same town as Matt, Sarah says. That's cool. Small world. Chrissy says it's not real snow. Well, these days you never know, do you? Ariana says it's 90 degrees in San Diego right now. Must be nice.
Yeah, I just talked to a person in Colorado, and they're like, "Oh, it's like almost 90 here." I'm like, "What?" Like, okay, it was 1 degree here when I was talking to them.
The Midwest had a very weird,
weird winter. It's been strange.
Yeah. We've been getting a lot of their weather, I think. So it is really cold and frigid here.
Definitely matches the energy of what's going on, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we get people from all over the world watching this podcast. Luke is in Australia, I believe. We got even the Australians up this early in the morning. It's nice to see you guys. So, Matt, this is the first time he's been on my podcast. And usually when we have somebody on for the first time, we ask them to start at the beginning.
Ooh.
To go back to their spiritual awakening and what happened. Because we all love that story. I mean, it's different for every person, how they were awakened and what they went through.
Yeah, it was I kind of had to get dragged into this. Like, it wasn't like I woke up one day and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do this work. It was like I was a research scientist. I was working in drug development before all this. Like,
wow, see, that is a huge shift.
Yeah, I used to know better than everyone. If you don't believe me, just ask me. I thought I had the world figured out. It's like, but I don't know when in science you stop questioning stuff, but like that happened, you know.
The science has been settled. We've heard that many times.
Yeah, it's like you get to a point, you get so invested in a certain in the BS, the belief system, that you're like, oh, it has to be like this. And I would have probably made you cry back in the day, just because I thought I really had a good grasp on like how the world worked and stuff. And then
what changed that?
It was like a hard shift. I started having like all my own like medical problems, and like I was having I was just struggling with a lot of different areas of my life. And the last thing I was working, it was like I just kept hitting roadblock after roadblock. So the last project I was working on was like a cancer research center, and me and this guy spent 3 years setting this all up. And like a month before we were going to launch it, we lost like $15 million in funding, and it was like someone pulled the rug from under me. And it's like, but it was like thing after that, like thing after thing like that, that was like, I didn't know I was supposed to be doing something different. Apparently, like I just kept trying to plow through the only way I knew. And then finally I'm like, you know what? I'm done. And I just kind of like, it just kind of like threw in the towel, basically. I think they call it surrender, but I didn't know that at the time. It felt like giving up.
Dark night of the soul is what a lot of people call it.
Yeah. And that pushed me to the work first of Aaron Dowdy, who's a person on YouTube that really kind of opened me up to stuff, and kept mentioning Dolores Cannon, and like, and so like found a couple of videos of her, and I'm like, she just is talking about this stuff so matter of fact that I'm like, what don't I know? Like, I'm like, how does this lady
left out the loop? This grandma knows everything.
I know. And I'm like, on some level, it felt right. I'm like, how does she know more than me? of how this works. Like, understood quantum entanglement, but like, she'd be the one that stood out. She was talking about like ancient Egyptian history. I don't remember exactly what the thing was, but she'd be working with someone in England. And then she'd like work with someone in the United States like a week later, and the person would continue the story. And I'm like, what? Like, what don't I know? Like, how is that even freaking possible? And that just opened up this whole world for me, because I'm like, how much don't I know? So I just started questioning everything again, like re-examining everything. And then at that time I was having all my own issues. I was on 14 medications for pain, for anxiety, for ADHD, for grand mal seizures, for side effects of those. And like, I mean, it was a lot. Like, I look back and I'm like, wow, they just kept adding more stuff to it, because it's like, well, here, this will do it. And like, I kind of thought that was the way that I had to go. Like, okay, this is for this, and now here's for the side effects of these. And I was on like, have a plate of pills for breakfast, like. And,
by design, I mean, that's what they want, isn't it? This is what they're pushing for.
Kind of, but I really thought I was helping people by going into that field.
Well, I mean, nobody goes in there just to make money. You don't join the medical industry just for the sake of profit. You do want to help people.
Yeah, no one I knew that worked in that field thought that, but the people controlling the shots are like, I mean, you really don't have any say in it. You're just kind of working for that. And it's pretty eye-opening. Like, I remember sitting in this is a little like side quest, but I remember sitting in a lecture on like cancer therapeutic agents and like different targets for cancer. And I asked the question, I was in grad school, I was like, hey, why aren't you looking for this as a potential cure? You know, like if you address that. And they're like, well, you don't make your money back from a cure. If you keep someone alive for 10 years, that's how you make your money back. Sit down, kid. And I'm like what? And like everyone's just like nodding in agreement. I'm like, what? Are you serious? Like, is that where we're at? And it's almost like this systematic problem, because even if you had the best thing in the world, it's not going to come out because of the people that are calling the shots.
We got shareholders. We got to keep an eye on the bottom line. Yeah.
I see the world a lot differently now, because like if I had a magic wand that could just take away your physical symptoms, like you're not going to learn anything from it. So I see the world a lot differently now. But yeah, there is all these pieces at play, and it's very eye-opening. Let's put it that way. But
my stepbrother, who I don't speak to, owns a pharmaceutical company. My half brother. So, I mean, they look at me like I'm batshit crazy. It's fine. I mean, whatever. But I sleep very soundly at night. You know what I mean? Like, I don't ever try to get one over on somebody else. And I feel a lot of these companies are staying afloat through deception, through manipulation, through, you know, holding back treatments that are more cure-like, because they can prolong the illness due to profit.
Yeah. And that's even the way the system's set up. You can't do 10 years of research to get a drug to market. And then like, if you're not going to make your money back, no business person is going to make that investment. Like, oh, I'm going to lose money no matter what on this. Like, I don't know. We're
not allowed to question the science, even if medical, misdiagnoses or malpractice is one of the leading causes of death in this country. I mean, it's like the third largest cause of death is due to medical issues and getting things wrong. So, I mean, yeah, we're trying to find new solutions for healing, and a lot of what our clients come to us is because they feel that they've exhausted other options, that nothing is working, or the doctors don't have an answer. And then they come to us and they say, well, what can you do?
Those are my favorite ones by far. The idiopathic conditions that no one can figure out, because there's always a reason when we do this work.
There's always a reason. And most of the time we see energetic reasons. We see energetic causes that create a snowball effect, which then end up creating illness in the body. Right. But that's because if you ignore the symptoms, if you're just ignoring your body, who's often screaming for help, this is kind of what happens down the road.
Yeah. And I see the world like way differently now. I used to look at the body like, oh, there's something broken, what needs to be fixed? Well, like as you alluded to, by the time you get to that point, you've already missed like 10 other things that were trying to get your attention. So just even reframing that to look at it as like, okay, this is trying to get my attention for some reason, rather than being like a victim of what's happening to your body.
Exactly. And Dolores talked about this a lot, didn't she?
Yeah. So yeah, I was on all those medications. I was having grand mal seizures like every week. Even on the maximum amount of medication, the last seizure I had was like an hour long. Like it was like pretty debilitating. And then I was just feeling like stuck in life. On a normal night, I would sleep like 2 to 3 hours a night, and I was like prescribed medication to do that. I was prescribed 6 milligrams of Xanax a night to fall asleep for 2 hours, like basically blackout and wake up again. It's like, what? And it's like, looking back, I'm like, that's ridiculous. But it's like, I also didn't know another way. And I didn't actually think this would work for anything physical. It was my push to do something different. It was like one of the first things I did. And in that session, I immediately stopped having seizures that day. In 2 months, I was off all 14 medications. And it was also where I found I was supposed to be doing this work. And I'm like, that is not right. And the lady's like, just say the first thing that comes to mind. I'm like, fine, I'm supposed to be doing what you're doing, but that's not right. I remember like all this resistance. I'm like, what? I'm supposed to sit and listen to people's problems? And like, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be doing this. Like, and everything shifted from there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what I need to do. But it also kind of became apparent like that I have to be that bridge for these two worlds, because these people aren't talking to these people and the answer's in the middle. So
exactly.
Yeah, it's been quite the journey.
It really has. And you keep going down new rabbit holes, don't you? Whenever you go through a spiritual awakening, you find something and it takes you to a new form of something else. And you just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper. And the things you learn are, a lot of this has been denied intentionally. Like this knowledge has been withheld from us. And when you start embracing this knowledge and realizing who you actually are, I mean, that changes you on a very profound level, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You find out your source, your God itself. I mean, that just blew my mind. That was one of the biggest revelations through Dolores's work that I don't think I've ever been the same since. I had.
Yeah. How do you unring the bell after that? You know?
I don't think you can.
Well,
yeah. And it shifts the paradigm in your own mind as to what you can accomplish, why you're here. You know, and also in regards to other people too, because you realize everybody else is source too.
Yeah. And then all the stuff that you like all got worked up about, it's like none of this shit matters. Like yes. It's just so freeing, because like I don't know, it's even hard to articulate, but it's like this weight is just lifted off you. Like that actually happened after my session. As a side effect of doing this work, I lost 60 pounds in 2 months just from all this like heaviness my body was carrying. And like I didn't eat anything different. I didn't start exercising. It was just like whew, that energetic weight lifted. So
yeah. So you got deep into hypnosis.
Yeah.
You really ran with it.
Yeah. It's like it changed my whole world. What a great gift to be able to give someone else. Like it's the best job in the world. Like you set someone free and then they go out and they set people free. I'm like, this is so cool.
It is. So Matt and I had a real similar passion in regards to not just the work, but talking about the work, sharing the work, sharing what we've learned through the work, helping people to understand, you know, to answer questions they've had in their minds since forever, but they never thought they would get an answer while they were still alive. So, I mean, even in itself, that was exhilarating. And the time that I spent working for QHHT changed my life profoundly. And the work that I was doing online too, because I mean, I read Dolores's books cover to cover, probably 2-3 times each. just looking for quotes to put up, just looking for explanations for people. Somebody would come to me and be like, well, I have a question about miscarriages, for example, which is a very heavy thing that a lot of people want to know about. And so I would type in, miscarriage into one of Dolores's books, and I would find all her quotes on it, and I would bring up all the quotes, and I'd be talking about it, and I'd make a post, and often the post would go viral because there's a lot of people that are going through really heavy stuff and they want answers. And I mean, people would be really having almost like a spiritual awakening to a degree in the comment section. They're like, you have no idea what you've done for me answering these questions. And that really inspired me to continue going in ways that I never expected it to take off in the way that it did. I mean, we gained nearly 1 million followers in the course of like 2.5 years. I mean, it was nuts. Posts were just going nuts. And almost every time I went to the comment section, sorry, I'm just grabbing my charger. My laptop's going dead. I forgot to get it out. I would see Matt in the comments, and he would be helping me answer the questions. And I'd be so grateful too, because I mean, I was working 16-hour days trying to keep up with the comments. And I would see you in the comments helping answer all these questions. And you'd be writing these paragraphs of, just really beautiful explanations. And that is how Matt kind of got on my radar. And I was so grateful. I mean, you were so good at explaining things and to help people, understand it. It's one thing to have it in the books, because the books some of it's a lot to digest. And as Dolores would say, you can't give a baby a 4-course meal. You have to kind of make it bite-sized for them in the beginning so they can handle it, so they can stomach it. Otherwise, it's too much. They get overwhelmed. They start like having an existential crisis. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to thank Matt again. I mean, this is going back probably 5 years or so.
Yeah.
For just everything that you do, for trying to help awaken people and answer questions. And I mean, it was really beautiful to have that help. And it's a long time coming. So I wanted to say thank you for that, because I still haven't forgotten.
Oh, I had all the same questions, and like that's probably my favorite part of doing this, because I want to know everything. So it's like questions I had since I was like 4 years old that I never found in science, religion, like anything, were answered in the first couple of weeks. I'm like, oh, crap, I got to come up with new questions. Like,
yes.
So like, if I can help someone else, like, hey, this is what I learned. I still feel like I don't know anything. I'm learning so much every day. Thought that would slow down, but.
How you felt, what you were saying earlier about knowing everything, that is ironically how I felt 5 years into doing this work through Dolores's books. Like I said, I thought pretty much all the questions were answered. And then, I don't know if you remember, you were one of the hypnotists that reached out to me through the official page going, what the hell is this? Where a client, I don't know if you remember, the client came for healing, and you put them under, and the higher self said something along the lines of, she doesn't need to heal, she needs to die.
Yeah, that was like, they said just kill
I'll never forget your message. I was blown away. Like, what?
So I'm like, who's gonna get this? And like, you were the person I reached out to, because I'm like, I don't know what to do here. Like, I was like a deer in headlights. I'm like, this doesn't sound very, very higher self.
Back then, I didn't know what to do either. I was a bit like, holy shit, they can't be the higher self. The higher self would never speak like that.
Yeah.
So what is it? That was the question. What is it that would say something so horrible? Yeah. And that brought me, along with a few other hypnotists who had similar questions, brought me down this rabbit hole of entities. Yeah. And this was something that I was told not to talk about in the academy. They were like, they didn't really deny that entities were real. They just said, don't talk about it. And that bothered me considerably. They considered it to be fear-based. They didn't want to scare people away from hypnosis. And, I thought to myself, like, well, these people have been doing hypnosis for decades longer than I have. What do I know? You know?
That's what I thought too. You start doubting yourself. Like,
what do I know? You guys have been doing this way longer than I have. Like, and I gaslighted myself. I kind of brushed it off and was a bit like, well, Maybe it's a rare problem. Maybe it's only on occasion. Maybe it's the subconscious who needs some extra healing, you know? And then I stumbled upon Dr. Terrence Palmer's work and a few other people, Dr. William Baldwin, Dr. Edith Fiore, and these are fellow hypnotists. These are hypnotists, hypnotherapists. Many of them actually had their PhD for this, and they were finding entities attached to people through hypnosis. And they were explaining that entities would get in the way sometimes. You'd be trying to talk to the subconscious, and if you have an entity attachment there, it's going to push the subconscious out of the way and say, no, I'm just going to grab the microphone. You know?
Really?
So, I mean, for you, that was probably a major revelation. It's just like it was for me.
Yeah, it like opened these doors. I'm like, okay, I have to figure this out. How do I help these people? Because obviously this is a thing. This isn't a person's mind, you know, like, oh, this is a part of their mind. I'm like, really? Like, that just didn't feel right. But I'm like, I also didn't know what to do. And some of the people love the drama around this, and they turn it into this big, like, theatrical thing. And it's like, that's really what I thought it was going to be like. But it's like, wait, we can just talk to this? Like, we're already talking to it. I'm like, okay, well, start asking questions. Well, why, who are you? Why are you there? Like, they'll give you the whole backstory, and like, the person didn't make this up, you know?
I had another hypnotist that reached out to me, and she said she was trying to talk to the subconscious, and it was like somebody glued the client's mouth shut. Mm-hmm. She was trying to talk, you know, and couldn't talk, and was like, what is going on? And then she kept pressing and pressing and pressing, and all of a sudden another voice comes out, a male voice comes out and says, you're just trying to get rid of me. Yeah. Like that, really creepy, like. And she was a bit like, oh, who's this? Who am I talking to? And finds out it was an earthbound that had attached. A 19-year-old suicide victim attached to the client because the client was going through thoughts of suicidal ideation. Mm-hmm. You attract what you're going through, you know. So she attracted this person who took their own life. And he said, quote unquote, to the hypnotists, bodies are prime real estate. She doesn't want hers, so I took it.
Wow.
I mean, to hear that as a hypnotist, and then the client to hear that on the recording later is extremely unsettling.
Yeah. And then especially if you're not doing anything about it, like, because like, at least with what we know now, we can help these people. But can you imagine going home with that? Like, okay, this like came up. Well, no kidding. That would freak me out too, you know?
Yeah. So
that's just your mind, Laura. It's like,
really? Even though I was unconscious and don't remember any of the conversation, you know, but this is what I mean. Like some of this stuff is very nerve-wracking for a lot of hypnotists because they don't know what to expect when the client goes under, because sometimes it does happen that interference comes in and gets in the way of the session. Mm-hmm. So I'm just curious, you know, now that you're aware of this, and now that there's other modalities that are teaching this, right? Because Candace, for example, I've had a word with Candace. Candace will be coming on the podcast hopefully soon. But for those who don't know, Candace was one of Dolores's, probably her closest student, really. I mean, Candace worked with Dolores all day, every day. She helped her in pretty much every aspect of running the business and helping to grow the school and helping with students and with training. She made all the videos, the original videos and everything with Dolores. I mean, Candace really put everything into this. And, you know, when she was kind of pushed out of the academy shortly after Dolores passed away, she went and created her own modality, BQH, which I'm sure many of you have heard of before. So BQH is very similar to QHHT. It's a different, induction that we do. However, there's entity release included as well as SCHH. You guys all have your own kind of new form of entity release. And I'm just curious, how do you do that with your sessions?
I actually was fortunate enough to be friends with a person that taught shamanic people. So she was a shamanic teacher, and she basically shared with me how they do it, because I'm like, how do I help these people, you know? And it was like she learned what was called like compassionate depossession in like shamanic sense. So It's actually easier for us because we already have a person in a trance state. So it's like most of the time you're already connected to that. I don't go looking for stuff usually, usually presents itself.
Yeah.
And yeah, so she helped me with that. And then if anyone's interested, I do have that training free on my website. So
That's really cool, man.
mattschmidtqh.com, and then it's under practitioner. So I have the manual, the training, how to guide a person through that for anyone that works in trance with people. But I found that to be like 99% effective in most of the cases. Takes a little bit longer, but it also you don't have to worry about stuff coming back because you're addressing like the root of where things are, and it's really eye-opening. So that's what I kind of learned. That's what I started doing with people, and it's just basically having a conversation. Why are you here? What drew you to this person? And differentiating it from the person, and then you get to help them move on. And the interesting thing that I didn't know what was gonna happen though is like I've had some of what would you'd say is probably like the darkest, like nastiest stuff, like swearing at me and yelling and then they come back and thank me afterwards for helping them out. Like I've had them come through in mediumship readings. Oh, I remember this person and this, and like, thank you. I was stuck. I was lost, and like I was like, wow, I never thought that'd be part of it. So it's like a win-win-win for everyone when you're doing it the right way. So
I've had entities actually attack me mid-session. I'll be doing a clearing and then I'll get pain in the back of my head or something weird. And I'll be like, what the heck is that? And I'll say something to my guides, and my guides will be like, oh, level 2 just came in. And I'm like, why is it attacking me? And they were like, it's trying to get your attention. It wants to be crossed over. And I was like, even a demonic wants to go to source? And they said, this one does.
Sure.
Then I said, why would a demonic want to go back to source? And they said, because they're tired too. Yeah. They don't like the shift. They don't like how they feel right now with the shift. The energies are changing, and they realize it's like their time is coming to an end, and they're done too. They're just, I'm ready to move on.
And you think about it, everything came from the same place. The darkest thing you can imagine also came from source. So it's like, why would you? I always try to put myself in their shoes. Like if that was me, like wouldn't I want someone to help guide me home? So
a lot of them don't even know what source is. I've argued with a few reptilians, just talking smack to them. And the low-ranking reptilians have no idea what source is. They have no idea. We're like, we're going to send your ass to source. They're like, where? They don't know. They have no idea what it is. They were never told what it is. So they don't know that they are source either. They're far removed from it because, I mean, vibrationally anyway. But a lot of this stuff that we're finding is all in relation to coming back to the collective, of healing the collective. And the collective thought forms, which is what many of the demonics are, they're created by the collective. As we heal the collective, don't we kind of disintegrate them and clear them out? That's the impression that I'm getting anyway.
I agree. Yeah. I think that's all these things kind of coming to the surface. It's almost like it can't be held in this anymore. So it's just like things are, I don't know, moving pretty quickly.
So with your work, I'm just curious, you've been doing this for years now, probably what, at least like nearly 10 years,
I think.
Yeah, 11 years now. Cool. So how has it changed since the beginning to now?
I think that when I started, more people were going to like past lives and stuff. Now it's most people are just in this lifetime with just what I've seen. Everything moves a lot quicker. As far as like the healing process, like I said, someone recently, and they're like, we went through all their past lives in a couple minutes. They're like, oh yeah, we can clear all that up now because I think everything's just moving quicker. It's like trying to, I think of this almost like in states of matter, like trying to move things in a block of ice versus like as a gas, like if it's steam, like stuff is just going to move quicker.
Therese has got all your stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Therese has got literally everything for you. So I don't know if you guys want to, everybody's asking for his website. Therese, maybe we can make it smaller and just share the link. Because it takes up the whole screen when she does it like that. But yes, we've got his website up there. You've got a Facebook, you've got YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Therese has got all the things covered.
So it's Matt Schmidt QH on pretty much everything. And then MattSchmidtQH.com is the website. So a lot of like free resources there for other practitioners and stuff.
Wonderful.
Yeah. I'm like, anything I got stuck on, I'm like, man, if I can help someone else, like it just helps. It helps everyone. It's like a win-win. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely been a ride though with some of those things, and like it's so the thing that I think about too is like denying some of these things, like that. Somebody like, well, entities don't exist. I'm like, how can you even say that? But like, I think of it in terms of like, if you went to the doctor's not going to be like, oh, it's probably from one of your past lives. They're probably not going to say that, you know. So like, if you're not trained to look through that lens, you're going to be missing all these opportunities. And I look back and I'm like, oh, I missed that one, you know, as I'm kind of like recalling these things, and oh, that's what that was. Oh, that makes sense now. Because they are like, they almost blend with a person's energy. And if you don't know what to look for, good luck being aware of those things.
Yeah. Oh, that would be hilarious if the doctor would say like, oh, this is a past life injury that's come up again. Maybe in the future holistic
Well, we're getting there. Have you ever looked into past lives? Maybe you have an attachment. Have you thought of that?
I know. Well, you've got a, debilitating illness that we can't figure out. Maybe the Greys are responsible, because this is what we're finding on a lot of people. People who go to the doctors looking for an explanation first, and the doctors don't have one. They just kind of like, eh. So then they come for hypnosis and many other things. All these different spiritual practices. A lot of it really just boils down to blockages in the body, though, doesn't it? Energetic blockages, emotional blockages, repressed memories and emotions and trauma that we've really shoved down in there really deep. And that's where hypnosis comes in, because some of this stuff is so locked in our subconscious, we don't even remember. We don't even know what we're working to heal. Right? If something happened to you traumatic at like 2-3 years old, and how are you supposed to remember? What about womb trauma? We can find people with womb trauma.
Yeah, all the time. And that's the thing too, is like, just because you're chronologically past it, or you're like, oh, I'm fine, like it doesn't mean that you actually addressed it. Like, I always tell people, I'll never have a job for that reason. You're not going to think your way out of this stuff. You're not going to talk your way out of this. Like, it's not until you get to the level where all this stuff was created that you can finally like process it and release it. So,
yeah. And much of the trauma gets compiled too, because what happens, you've noticed, we repeat patterns, don't we, with our past lives?
Oh, yeah.
So, the trauma, it kind of gets worse in that aspect, because if it's not the first time you've been through that traumatic experience, and your body, even the cells of your body, are holding on to the trauma of that, it can end up manifesting as a debilitating physical illness without you even being aware that the root of it is not even in this lifetime.
Yeah.
So with hypnosis, have you seen any, one of my favorite things with Dolores was that she would talk about spontaneous healing.
Oh, yeah.
During sessions. Yeah. Have you seen that?
Oh, yeah. A lot of times. Most of this stuff is like, has to be like integrated, but especially when doing some of like the spirit release stuff, I mean, the shifts are fast. Like, I've watched people's eye color change. They look 10 years younger, like, or their like symptoms are just gone. And that happens quite frequently. I really love the quantum aspect of this work, because it blows my mind what is actually possible. Like, I've had people regrow body parts. Like, I've had people move their bones back into place after getting hit by cars. Like, if you had told me some of this stuff years ago, I would have laughed at you. I'm like, don't you know how things work, Laura? That can't happen. It's like, the one that really stands out that still like kind of racks my brain, and I like to use it as an example, is lady came to a class I taught on self-healing, and basically tapping into that quantum space. And she wanted to focus on her shoulder where she injured it. She had metal pins and screws put in there 20 years ago, and they had to piece all the bones back together. A week after the class, she ended up pulling her bicep, had her arm x-rayed, and all the metal pins and screws were gone, and the bone was healed. Like, so on a physical level, that's totally impossible. It's medical grade titanium. It doesn't just go away.
Yeah,
but like,
exactly.
I asked about this later, and they said on a quantum level, she basically shifted to a version of her timeline where she was never injured.
That happens a lot in my cases too. We've had birthmarks disappear because of that.
Yep.
And that blew my mind, because I've had clients come back to me and they'd be like, thanks for the clearing, but where'd my birthmark go? And I asked the guides after because I'm curious too. I want to know where the birthmark went. So I asked the guides and they were like, oh, we just changed the timeline to a timeline where it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And I was like, you can do that? And they said, yeah, it's infinite timeline. So you can just shift the timeline. It's basically like you take out this one, you put in the timeline that it had a better result. And then it's like the memory changes. It's like the reaction to the trauma changes.
It blows my mind. Everything is way slipperier than it appears. We'll just put it that way. Yeah. I like to use the analogy that to really, because you can really lose yourself in this quantum world, but real simply, like, you know, all the radio stations are playing right now in the same way that all these timelines exist simultaneously. And basically the one that you're experiencing is the one that you're dialed into, or basically the vibration of. So basically she just changed the station, but most of our work comes in like, why have you been stuck on the same station for 25 years? Why is there gum in the dial? Oh, well, here you go. And then from there, then you can shift, because most people are so like stuck.
Yeah, well, a lot of us are stuck in the same like behavior, the same patterns. And so sometimes even like the soul guides, I hate to say it, and the guides are kind of like, ugh, but they will even inspire an accident or some kind of disaster in your life to completely shift you out of that being stuck in the mud kind of thing. Like if you're going down your path and then you get so wildly off your path, focused on other irrelevant stuff that has nothing to do with what you're supposed to be doing in life, your guides will find some way of like correcting it. And sometimes it can be like your whole life blowing up in your face.
Yeah. Here, let us help.
Yeah. It's happened to me a couple times where everything just kind of. I have a friend too. I'm sure some of you will know who I'm talking about. She was dealing with severe back pain. And this friend was like, I don't know what to do. The doctors couldn't find anything. So she went for hypnosis. And they were like, oh, you have to move to such and such country. And she's like, what? Like, I have to move to this country? That was the first thing her subconscious said when she went under. Why am I in pain? Because we needed you to come to the session. We needed to tell you, you need to move to this place. And she's like, no, I don't want to move to that place. I've never even been there. I've never even heard of this place. Like, no. And then, you know, a few months pass, pain comes back again. She's like, I'm going to a different practitioner. She goes to a different hypnotist, goes for QHHT again, goes under. The higher self says, you need to move to blah, blah, blah again. And she was a bit like, what on earth? So then sure enough, she finds out it was meant to be. It was her guides were like, no, this is where you're supposed to be. This is the safest and best place for you. And there was no other way for us. We had to spell it out to you. This is what you got to do.
Yeah.
And it's funny, the pain went away after that. It's like once she got the message, the pain went away, but she had to go through 6 months of back pain before it actually was like, oh, maybe I should do something. Maybe I should look into an alternative way of figuring out what's wrong.
I'll have people, there's nothing wrong with them. They get like physically like ill to push them to come see me. And like sometimes they call to make an appointment and they hang up and their symptoms go away. And like I've had this for 10 years. Like, yeah, you finally did what I was pushing you to do. Like, I had one
plan, right? And they want you to that's you made that plan. That is a plan that you set before you were even born. But we can go wildly off that plan, can't we? Free will is one of those things.
It's very flexible. So I remember before I did this work, I was like still hanging on to my old job. Like I was like kept making deals. I'm like, okay, I'll tell them next week I'm quitting. And I kept like dragging my feet. I fell out of a tree cutting trees and like grabbed onto the tree and hurt my shoulder. Like couldn't raise it above here, couldn't move it backwards. It was like that for months. I was told I needed rotator cuff surgery after working with PT. And then I heard, yeah, you're still holding on to your old way of life. And I'm like, no. Like within 30 seconds of telling them I quit, it completely went away and hasn't been back.
No
so
way.
I didn't have a session in between. I just actually did what it was pushing me to do. And
do you think that's the higher self doing that?
Yeah, I think it's like, okay, you finally listened. You don't need it anymore. Like,
that is crazy.
In seconds, go from surgery to nothing. I'm like, what? I'm like, I couldn't believe it myself. I'm like, no way.
So this is the kind of spontaneous healing that I'm into. I just love it. I find it the human body is absolutely fascinating. I had an issue with fibroids to the point where it was debilitating, and I thought I was going to have surgery. And we had a psychic surgery. One of our mediums offered to do psychic surgery healing on me through the soul guides. The soul guides came in. They said that they found I had a very powerful traumatic experience that was running through my family. Apparently, and I asked what it was, and they said witnessing the persecution of a mother. Apparently, I don't know if it was my mother or somebody in my bloodline's mother, but we watched one of us be burned at the stake. And that trauma carried through the DNA of every female in our bloodline since it happened. My great-grandmother had fibroids. My grandmother had fibroids. My mother, every female in our family on that side has fibroids, really debilitating ones. So I wanted to find out why. And sure enough, the guide said, it's the trauma. It's passing through your family bloodline. We're going to have to clear all the trauma. We got to clear it from the cells. We got to clear it from your womb. Like it's literally sat in the womb. The trauma sits in the body, right? And so they said it's going to take a couple sessions, but we'll help you with the healing. And they did. And the fibroid problems went away and have not been back since.
Wow.
No surgery needed.
Wow.
So it just goes to show like trauma does store in the body, and it will manifest as pain, as illness, as all kinds of stuff until it gets released. And it might not even be your trauma. It could be your grandmother's or somebody along your bloodline.
And then your soul came in to break that cycle. Like, how cool is that? Like, that's even like, it's very empowering rather than like, you're not cursed at birth because of like what you came in with. You're like, I came in to heal this for generations. Like, how cool is that?
I know, right? And we see this a lot with ancestral stuff too, because for example, somebody will have an ancestral issue with drinking, alcoholism that runs in the family. And then we find out that this is, something that is being passed on energetically and even in the DNA. So when you are going through hypnosis with this, you can talk to the higher self and you can clear it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you find out where it comes from and how to do it. And it's like
fascinating.
Yeah. What I find even more interesting is like science is coming around to this. They call it like epigenetic inheritance, but the study I just read was about Holocaust survivors and how 3 generations out, the DNA is still affected by that event.
Extreme trauma and stress. Yeah, I can imagine that.
Yeah. So it's like we're coming to the same realizations through different fields, and it's like it's all the same stuff.
Wow. Yeah. So they're realizing we pass on a lot more than just our appearance traits.
Yeah. So they're saying that this trauma is basically passed on to your kids, and they're still seeing it, generations out from the initial event. So
wow. So amazing. Let's just say that you are somebody who is a client who's looking to do hypnosis, and your family has been going through some really heavy stuff. How do you prepare for a session? Do you ask this as a question? Is there anything from my family line that I can clear today? Is this how a lot of people word it?
It is, and I usually try to focus on the person because people can get really distracted. They're like, they think it's their job to heal their mom or their grandma, or like, no, it starts with you. Like your healing here ripples out through the generations, like the way that I see it. So by focusing on what it is in you that needs to be healed, if it's taken on unconsciously or, genetically or however it's transferred, by addressing it within you, it sometimes automatically like heals back through the lines. Or sometimes they'll even have the ancestors come in, and it's like they'll actually help to close the loop as part of the healing because they're not attached to the body anymore, and they'll actually come in to be part of the healing for the person. And it's like, wow, that's really interesting. Like you're helping to heal the crap you started. Like, okay, well, I mean, I appreciate it, but it's just kind of eye-opening, So
yeah. Well, often this is what happens though. People come back into their own family line to clear what they started.
Yep.
I mean, that's fascinating. If you were the great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather who was the heavy drinker that created the drinking problems in the first place, going down your family line, and then you incarnate again, and you're kind of, you didn't get to escape your problems. You don't
get out of anything. I learned that.
So
what I find interesting with this one is I never know what to expect. Like I've had several people, like quite a few people actually, they didn't actually carry anything over, but they believe because their grandma and their mom had something that they have to have it, and the belief creates the illness within them.
Yes.
They don't even have it. And I'm like,
yes.
what?
I mean, like cancer runs in the family and they
Yeah.
believe it. Yes, absolutely.
Like if you knew how powerful you were, you'd change a lot of the ways that you do stuff.
Mm-hmm. We blame a lot of stuff on genetics too, when a lot of it is just learned behavior from our parents too. Sometimes we're like, well, you know, it's in my genetics. And it's like, well, you learned your eating habits, your thinking habits, everything you learn from your parents also affects that.
Sure.
So it's not just about, you know, having the same genetics. It could also just be about having the same traits, the same behaviors, the same mentality.
Yeah. I think about this too. Well, that's the problem with genetics. We discovered this whole field and we're like, and then we start grouping things together like, oh, all these people with this have this condition, you know, like I think about some of you are probably familiar with like the breast cancer gene, like BRCA1 gene, like, oh, this gene causes breast cancer. It's like, no, it doesn't. Half the people with this never get it. Like there's a correlation, but correlation doesn't mean causation. That'd be like saying like, well, every fire I go to, there's a bunch of firefighters. They must be starting them. Like,
well, I don't know. As a firefighter, we do like to start fires too. Yeah. Firefighters are the biggest pyros I ever met, actually. Funny thing.
So yeah, that just because we've grouped people together doesn't necessarily mean like, okay, why is this gene switched on? Why is this group like affected from this? So there's always a deeper why.
Yes, there is.
I just feel like a 2-year-old doing this. I'm like, but why? But why? But why? It's never a medical answer. It's never, well, it's receptor upregulation of this. It's causing this. And it's like, no, you're pissed off at your mom still. It's like, oh.
That's probably what I sound like to my guides too, because whenever they do me an answer, I'm like, why? They're like, I probably do sound like a toddler to them sometimes. But the why is very important. It is. The context. We need that.
Yeah.
Us humans, though, we're the guides have infinite patience with us. You can tell.
Yeah. I don't even think I can wrap my mind around some of the things. It's like they try to understand it.
Well, we can answer some questions. I saw a few minutes ago. Sarah says, out of curiosity, how many clients did you two help with World War II trauma? That's quite common, actually, the World War II trauma. Mm-hmm. I had a client a couple weeks ago who has facial blindness, can't remember faces very well. This was a very heavy case because we went into the past life resonances and we found out that he was in one of the camps. And his job was body removal. And had to see all the faces of all the people that he, removed who didn't survive and discard them. And seeing the faces, he begged. He survived. He was actually liberated from the camp, they said, but he had survivor guilt. And every night he would go to bed trying to forget the faces. And he told his higher self, I don't want to remember any faces. And the higher self obliged. In his next life, he can't remember any faces. And he asked, in the questions, like, can this be treated? Is this something that I can heal? And the higher self said, no, not in this lifetime. This was part of your plan. But he was a starseed veteran. And after this life, they said he'll go home and that the trauma will be erased anyway. And I said, what do you mean by that? And they said, well, when veterans go home, if the trauma is too heavy, we can erase the trauma. We can erase the memories for them to help with the healing. And they even said to me, they're like, a lot of your memories will probably be erased for that reason. And this actually, when they told me this, I was a bit like, because the traumatic memories that, I've been through every kind of trauma you can imagine on this planet in the various lifetimes I've had. I almost found that a little bit insulting to a degree because the trauma is part of who I am now. It's like I can see the good and the bad in it because a lot of that trauma that I went through is what keeps me humble. It's what keeps me focused on helping people because I don't want them to go through what I went through.
Yeah.
And the thought of that being erased kind of bothered me a little bit. And But the guides, they all have, I mean, in their infinite wisdom, they have a better understanding of whether or not that's going to serve us in the next lifetime, or whether or not it's going to hinder us. And I feel I can see what are your thoughts on this? Do you think that sometimes it helps to get rid of it completely, or to acclimate to kind of use it as some of the bricks that are who you are creating as a person?
You're going through it for a reason. Like, I find that kind of odd, actually, like, because everything I've been through are my greatest strengths now. I wouldn't change anything. Like, I do it all the exact same way again. And it's like, all of it led me here. So I do think maybe if they like kind of maybe limit access to those things, but I mean, I guess you can also circumvent it.
Humans are the only ones that don't incarnate with their memories. We're the only ones that go through this amnesia phase, basically, where we're trying to remember what we had from these past lives, because this is part of our situation here on Earth, regardless of how we got here. This is how we're dealing with now. But other galactics, they don't, have all of it erased. They can remember who they were. Those memories start coming back to them as they start to get older. And then they can remember basically almost everything. So it's almost like we're trying to figure out who we are as a people, though, because humans, we're one of the youngest races out there. I mean, we were created as, I must say, as a slave race. And many of us are just now starting to wake up and recognize this, and are starting to step outside of that pattern and refusing to be dominated and controlled and manipulated through all of this chaos that's happening here on Earth. But for starseeds, people who have never really had too much time here on Earth, it's a lot to deal with. And I'm sure you see a lot of starseeds who are kind of going through this almost like a crisis of knowing who they are, why they're here, and then, what their role is. So how do you kind of help people navigate this through hypnosis?
I'm usually straightforward. I'm like, well, you're here for a reason. Like, part of you wants to be here, even if your human doesn't. So let's figure that out. And usually once they can figure out, like, from that, like, kind of soul blueprint level of why they came here, what they're meant to be doing here, and makes it easier for them to be here. I think.
Do you ever get people who kind of freak out by too much information, where they're kind of like, okay, this is too much, I can't handle it?
Not usually. It's because their higher consciousness or higher self knows what they're ready for. Because I've had people like fighting it. They're like, why don't I believe that? And they're like, well, we thought you were ready. So
usually the next people that are like, yeah, I don't resonate with that. Or
fortunately, I don't have to make that call. If anyone thinks it's too much, usually it's because they have an attachment. They like sit up and like, we can be done now. We don't have to go any further. It's like, it goes into like their attachment, like goes into like self-preservation mode, because it's got like, pretty cushy. It's comfortable where it is. And it's like kicking your 40-year-old kid out of your house and be like, dude, time to go. And they're like, oh. Of course they don't want to move, they have it pretty good, so that's usually when people like decide it's too much, and it's like, oh, just lay back down a couple more minutes and we can address what the actual thing is there. But they never get more than they can handle. I fully know that. I've had this conversation with lots of higher selves and my own higher self, and the same thing I'm trusting for all the healing is what I'm going to trust to like kind of tailor the session. And occasionally I've had them say, they're like, we need to be done. They can't handle more than this today. Like, okay. And I honor that. We stop and we're done. Like, so.
Wow. I just got really loud ringing in my ear. Hello. One of your guides, maybe.
Hey.
So with this work, how do you see it's going to change over time? Because it has already changed quite considerably since Dolores was doing this work. And if you read through her books, she's given quite a few examples of how she wants it to kind of evolve and change and grow. And, for her students to kind of take on the mantle and start running with it in whatever way they feel is best. So
I feel like you and I are carrying the torch, like blazing the trail just the same way she did. Like when she started, I think about when she started, she was told not to take a person too deep into trance. You're not supposed to do this, and like all these things. And she's like, why? And she started doing those things, and it like opened up all these doors. Like,
well, she had policy. She wouldn't even hypnotize people that were dealing with psychosis.
Yeah.
If you were bipolar, schizophrenic, anything like that, she would be like, nope, I'm not hypnotized. I don't want to get involved in that. I don't want to make it worse or anything like that. But that is who my main clients are.
Yeah.
People she wouldn't even touch. That's the main people that come to me now for help.
I get a lot of those too. And like, I feel like that's why we're doing this. Like, been working with people with schizophrenia, dissociative identity disorder. And she's like, no, you don't work with those people. I'm like, why? Like, this is a spiritual issue and no medication's gonna treat this. And like, ironically, I actually worked in that field. I worked on treating central nervous system disorders, among other things. And like, especially with some of like the heavier things, we're looking at like hallucinogens and dissociatives for treating like schizophrenia and those things. And now I'm like, wait, that doesn't do anything at all. You're not even addressing why any of this is happening. And I really think that's that's kind of the frontier of where we're heading, is being able to help people that previously there was no help for. And that's where
we still have people like that. I have about 70% of my clients do feel a profound change after a clearing, after the soul guides have come in and removed everything. But then about 30% of them don't feel a change, or sometimes even feel worse after a clearing. This can happen for a lot of different reasons. Sometimes, on rare occasions, it's due to like a Stockholm syndrome almost, where they get attached to their attachments.
Oh, I have that all the time. The person doesn't want to let them go. They don't
want to let them go. I've even had one client come back and be like, can you bring back that? It's feeling kind of lonely and empty in my house. Can you bring that earthbound back? And we're like, no, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I feel like going to a depression after the voices are gone. They're like, I'm like, wait, the voice is telling you all this bad, and like, because all of a sudden it's super quiet, so they go into this like almost depressed state. But they come out better on the other side of it. I can follow up with a lot of these people just to make sure they.
Oh, I do too as well. I'm trying to keep up with this because I do get a lot of clients on a day.
And then like a month later, they're in the best spot of their lives, but they have to get through that initial. It's just, to me, it felt, when I went through it too, like I felt like a loss. Like I felt grief and sadness, even though I knew it wasn't supposed to be there. I felt like a part of me died, and I had to mourn that part that left. And I'm like, wow, I never thought that would be part. People don't talk about that, but I felt like a family member died. Like it was really like like a jolt to me.
Some of them are with you every day for decades, even.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you think about it, it's like having a roommate in the house with you 24/7, and you get used to that roommate's presence, that you don't feel alone because you have that roommate. And then the roommate gets evicted because they weren't a good roommate to have around in the first place. And then what happens? A lot of times people get feeling of emptiness or feeling of loss or depression or confusion. And we've seen that quite a bit. One of the things that I've also seen, I call it entity-induced psychosis, but it's really like psychosis that's due to programming from the entities, like constantly like putting things in your head.
Yeah.
Or trauma-induced thought forms, where people create their own like imaginary bullies in their mind.
Yes.
You see this too, yeah?
Yeah.
So what do you do with the thought forms? Because that's one of our biggest frustrations, because we'll clear a client, everything is removed. They'll say, oh, I feel better for a day or two, or maybe they won't feel any change. Or then we'll say, okay, just give us a couple of days. Let's see how the energy settle. They'll say, I still don't feel the change. Can you come back and check? And I always offer 10 days free rechecks.
Yeah.
So I go back in with a second medium to get a second opinion as to what's going on. Sometimes we don't find entities. We don't find anything except self-created thought forms.
Yeah.
And they'll swear. They're like, I can feel it touching me. What do you mean it's not there? And I'm like, it's not an entity. You're creating your own beastie.
Yeah.
If you believe in entities so much to the point where you believe that they're always with you, even after they've been cleared, you can create the entities that are harassing you yourself.
Yeah.
And this is something that is probably the most challenging thing I'm working on in regards to my clients.
That's why I think just a clearing isn't enough there, because you can clear those, but like they just recreate it. So if you don't get to why they're creating it, and what I find, the last one I remember was, oh, it's the devil, he's doing this to me. And then she's like, then she created this devil character to punish her because of something she did that she felt she needed to be punished for. So she created her own like punisher. I'm like, this is fascinating.
I see that all the time, Matt, all the time.
And when they realize they're creating it, I'm like, well, you can uncreate if you want. I can't make you do anything you don't want to do. And they're like, oh, okay. And they usually like
Because your inner self-created demons will attract external ones too, because they're seeing the disempowerment. They're seeing you're an easy snack, right? So your self-created ones will attract external ones. So we'll come and remove the external ones. We'll reintegrate the thought forms, but then your patterns, if you don't change your thoughts, if you don't change your expectations and beliefs, then immediately you're going to create more of those thought forms, and you're going to end up attracting more external ones, because the internal ones are there because your thoughts aren't in alignment, because your behavior is not, you're not taking good care of yourself. You're not doing psychic protection, or that you've got a disempowered mindset. Some people do their psychic protection from such a place of fear. It's like they're putting themselves in a bubble of fear. It's like, yeah, you've got your psychic protection bubble up, but if you're filling the bubble with fear, that's not going to do anything, So anyway, with your work, and I'm just curious, how do you kind of address those inner self-created demons, those self-created thought forms?
Those are individualized. Why the person created is the big thing. Okay, where did this originate? So I go back to the point of where it originated usually, and I'm like, okay, go back to where this came in. And then they're like, oh my gosh, I created this too because I thought I needed to, in this case, needed this person to punish me for this thing I did bad in high school. And when they realize that they created it, it kind of like, it just disappears once you resolve them feeling like they don't need to keep being punished.
We do recommend a lot of aftercare for people, but that is, we aren't really there to hold their hand through that. And that is something I wish I could change, to be able to help people with the aftercare rather than just telling them what to do for the aftercare.
Yeah.
Because most of the aftercare is some form of either talk therapy or somatic breath work, tapping. Some people can do affirmations, mirror work. But it's really just all different forms of shadow work, whatever works for you. Everybody it's like a trial and error. Sometimes shadow work works better for some people than it does others. Some people really respond to talk therapy, for example, and some people, the more they talk about it, the more traumatized they get. So it's like not one way fixes all situations in everybody's mind. So you really have, we're all so different.
I get that. And the way that I do stuff is probably a lot more long and drawn out than the way you do stuff. But it's like, I've also seen we get to the why behind stuff. So it's like, I only work with one person a day. It's pretty a slow process, but I'm also looking for those long-term results, but I'm also encouraging the person to have some outside help. One of the things that I do is record the sessions, and then them listening back is the reinforcement. A lot of times they need to hardwire in everything so it becomes a permanent change, and they just don't go back to the same shit they were doing before. So
well, this is why I do, with every report I send, I have an aftercare guidance sheet where I have a list of people they can go to for extra care after they're clearing, because I feel, and this is my mentor's analogy in this. He likened SRT work to being like paramedics that show up on scene. We get all the shit off of the people and try and help them to kind of get a bit more, what's the medical term for it? Basically stable. We try and get them stable. And then we hand them over to the doctors, the nurses, and the people who are able to kind of work on the more physical healing aspects of it. So it's very similar to that, where we come in and we clear we're like astral SWAT in a way. We come and clear all the pieces off and get rid of the earthbound. We help to get rid of all the cords and the contracts and all that stuff. But after that, you still need to do the work. You got to focus on the healing aspects of that. And that's where we're starting to develop and work on a more of a community aspect for that. So that way you have an actual support network. It's not just us coming in and chasing off the beasties and saying, well, good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck not picking up new ones, even though they're fucking everywhere. So
that is a great analogy. I love that. And that's it really, and it takes all of us. I think about, even from my perspective with this work, it's we're taught to trust our intuition. Well, if it's clouded by all this other crap, how do you get a clear read? So even just clearing that field is huge for people. I think what I've noticed with some of the people that have come to me, just I've been better about this, but like some people come in with the mentality that, oh, Matt's gonna fix me or Lars is gonna fix me with this, and it's like, good luck. You're not gonna make it very far if you're looking for someone else
internal
to.
panic for me
Yeah.
when I hear a client saying, "Oh, you're my last hope, Obi-Wan," kind of vibe, you know? And I'm like, "Oh no," because this is why I say, like, no, I'm just there to help get the monkeys off your back. That's it. Your job is to make sure that you can keep going, that you do the work, because there's a lot of homework that comes from doing a clearing, because you got to start working on the things that attracted the entities in the first place.
Yep.
And if you don't heal that, you're just going to pick up new ones.
Yeah. Oh, this is the same thing. You talk to any person that does Reiki, you talk to any like massage therapist, they see the same person for the same stuff because it just gets recreated. So we have to get to like the root of kind of where this stuff is coming from and, do the continued healing around it.
Yeah. And I feel like hypnosis is one of the most important aspects of that, because there's certain things that we suppress that we don't even, I mean, it's bad enough we don't even remember stuff from childhood. Sometimes it's so deeply repressed. Imagine stuff that happened to you 500 years ago in, I don't know, when you were burned at the stake or whatever it is. There's a lot of, your body doesn't forget, does it? Your subconscious doesn't forget either. So it's still there. It's looming around you and you don't even know it. And you might go to a place, you might watch a movie, you might feel something, you might hear something that will trigger a reaction from you, and you don't even know where the trigger came from because you don't recognize the connection.
Yeah, these things don't come back as memories most of the time. It's usually a reaction, and it's like, well, why do I feel this way?
Yes. So, just reading through, making sure we don't what should we look for when hiring a hypnotist for spiritual and physical healing? Great question.
I encourage people to have it be a good fit. You will know that it's a good fit for you. Reach out to the person. I encourage you to call the person. You'll know within the first 30 seconds if it's going to be a good fit or not. And I think that's more important than any, designated level, or I have all these, went through all these trainings. They may not be your person, and that's okay. I'll even send people to other people because I'm like, hey, I don't think I'm the person for you, but I want you to have a great experience. So I'm going to find someone that's better for you. So
yes. And one of the things that a lot of people, if you've never had a hypnosis session before, one of the things that Dolores said was most important was the trust building portion, where you sit down with your hypnotist and you have a nice long conversation. Usually it starts at childhood. What's your earliest memory kind of thing? Like the hypnotist really wants to get to know you well, not just so they understand what things might come up or how to kind of navigate the session, but also so you feel comfortable with your hypnotist. Because if you don't feel comfortable, a lot of times people don't go under, do they?
Yeah, if you don't have that trust, you're not going to get very far. Or even trying to move energy, I can feel the person like this if they're not, if they don't trust you.
What do you do when a client has a hard time going under?
I rarely have a problem anymore with, just because you learn that dance, and sometimes every person's different. It's kind of like this, dance back and forth, and you're just like feeling them out. You're getting them to, you're constantly working them down as you're talking to them, or even before they contact you or meet you that day, you've already started chipping away at any resistance. And when they feel comfortable with you, you literally can't not do it because all you're doing is entering a different state of consciousness, which you do all the time anyway. So it's literally impossible to not do.
Yeah. How do you protect yourself after a hypnosis or a clearing? This is psychic protection that comes in. What kind of psychic protection do you do, Matt?
I have a shotgun in the closet, but other than that,
are we talking astral shotgun or one filled with rock salt?
I just like to stand and be in my own energy. I don't know if it's cocky, but I know that I'm protected because I go in with that intention, and I occasionally, if it gets a little pretty heavy, I'll kind of push my energy out. So standing in my own power, standing in my own light, and then sometimes asking for help. But once I moved away from the fear part of it, you're not really drawing those things to you. You're just this big bug zapper almost of and stuff can come by you, but it's not going to attach to you. So
Yeah, agreed. And your vibration being very high is
Yeah.
also very important, because then they can just bounce off. Or they try to attach and they can't.
Yeah, I found the people that are like, oh, you have to put this black salt around you, and then you have to like spin in 4 circles and then put sage into each corner. It's like they're doing it for like the wrong reasons and not understanding why they're doing it. Like you said, the fear bubble. I mean, you're attracting more.
You're not doing it from a place of empowerment. You're doing it from a place of fear. You're just bingo dobbing fear all over your house.
Yeah, pretty much.
Me my weird analogies. I don't know where they come from.
I'm probably going to use that.
Kristen says she was told she couldn't be hypnotized. What do you think about that?
Not with that attitude.
Well, it's often great. And people say, well, I can't be hypnotized. Well, then you can't, because
you're right.
Declaration that you can't.
I actually pulled the word.
Somebody else. It seems like that's like a third-party person told her that she can't be hypnotized. So how would somebody else know what you can or can't do?
Yeah, and I actually pulled the word hypnosis out of everything I do, and every single person can do it now. All I do is remove the word. I don't even mention it anywhere on any of my stuff, and every single person can do this. When I mentioned the word hypnosis, I was running to all these issues. I pulled the word out. No one has a problem. So like it's impossible to not do this, because you're going through these different states of consciousness all the time. This second you staring at this screen right now, you're already in a state of trance. So it's like impossible to not do this. And once you realize that healing can happen at all these different layers, I used to thought a person had to be deep enough for these changes to take effect. And it's like, no, you don't. All these healing can be at different levels. And so like I stopped caring how it looks like, and it's people can get the results out of it. So
my biggest frustration with hypnosis is that I've never gone fully under. Every time I was hypnotized, I would stay partially conscious. So everything that I was seeing, I would gaslight myself and didn't believe it. The very first hypnosis session, for example, I saw 3 different visions. One where I was a ship captain and I got stabbed by my brother in the back, and he took my ship. It was during a mutiny. And then another one where I was a victim of slavery. I won't go into that one, but it was pretty rough. And then the third one was when I was an Oracle of Delphi. And I was poisoned to death. And I was like, I was an Oracle? Like, that's crazy to me. And I just blew my mind. But I still didn't believe it. I thought I made it all up. Mm-hmm. And for years, I told myself I made it all up and that I didn't have that experience. And then I went for an Akashic Record session. One of the very first things they said was, oh, by the way, you were an Oracle of Delphi. And I was a bit like, oh my God, I've known this for like 7 years. And I told myself I made it up that whole time. So do clients do that quite often, don't they? Where if they do remember it, they gaslight themselves and they're like, oh, I've just made that up. It sounds like a movie.
Yeah. And I even still feel this way. I'm like, as I'm going through it, am I making this crap up? Like, I think that's pretty normal. I usually tell people, I don't care if you made the whole thing up. What'd you learn? Because it's like, what are you going to take away from this? You can have a peak spiritual experience, but what are you going to do with it? It's no different than, a person going to do like ayahuasca, or they like have this, like, they go through this big thing. Well, okay, what are you going to take away from this? The same question remains, whether you made it up, whether it's a story, whether you don't even believe in this, what are you going to do with it at the end of the day? Because I get people on the other end of the spectrum, they have to like catalog all their past lives. And they're like, well, I worked with Cleopatra in this lifetime, and I was with Abraham Lincoln in this lifetime. I'm like, lady, you're on your 5th husband and the kids don't talk to you. Let's bring it back to now. like it becomes a distraction for that person.
My guides call it digging up dead bodies. I do the exact same thing. Because I'm always fascinated, and I've had like probably thousands of incarnations on this planet, and yet I want to know all of them. I make notes every time I have a new one triggered. I'm like, when was this? Where was this? How did this happen? And I'm rigged like that. I have a list of probably about 40 different past lives that I know about now. And but dead bodies though. They're like, are you trying to re-trigger trauma? And I'm like, no, I'm just curious. Thank you.
But see, like with the work that you're doing, it's also purposeful, because you come on here and you share those experiences. Like you're not like lost in that world and like not focusing on what's happening now because of it. So that's the difference.
It depends on the day. Because some past lives hold more of a hold on us than others. Some of them are, we're still trying to heal contracts and relationship stuff from those lives. So that's where the context comes in, right?
Yeah.
So you find out about all these other versions of you, and then you find out those versions are going through similar things that you're going through right now. And that's the part that gets me so curious about it. And then I laugh about it because I'll know when one of them is triggered. I'll have something that'll get triggered and I'll be like, oh, that was Margaret, wasn't it? And they'll be like, yeah, Margaret was one of the lives I had where I was burned or I was killed as a witch.
Yeah.
So it's like I can feel my inner Margaret coming out on occasion and I make jokes about it, because you can feel other versions of you on occasion, like almost being triggered. Like that's kind of how it feels to me, and I just kind of like, it's almost like an unhealed aspect is coming to the surface to be healed.
Yeah, I'm always like, didn't these other versions do anything?
Well, we went through a lot on this planet. This planet's been pretty dark, for a long time. And as Dolores would call them, what were they? Potato picking lives. We had a lot of those lives where we were just trying to survive, just trying to get through it all. So yeah, it's been a lot. I'm just reading through all the comments. On my SRT report, my aftercare was staying out of the past. Does this mean I shouldn't do a QHHT appointment? No, it probably, this is the thing about the past. Sometimes it actually serves you to get the context of something, to understand why things are the way they are. And then it's just easier to release it because the why is often a why a lot of us still kind of stay in there wondering and, trying to process it all.
And even if consciously you're not going to the past, subconsciously, all that crap is still noodling around. So easiest way to stay out of the past is by going back, addressing it. And then it's not like, doesn't have this hold over you anymore.
Right. So a good hypnotist not only takes you to the past, but helps you to transmute that pain from the past. Because it's one thing to go and scratch at the scab, so to speak, but you got to heal it. Because sometimes the scab is over a festering wound that needs to be released so it can actually heal properly. So going back again sometimes helps us to understand the context of these things and to why, because sometimes even our bodies react to it. I had a client the other day who is dealing with an illness, and this illness is directly related to the trauma they had in a past life where they were tortured in medieval times. So the medieval torture that they experienced is now manifesting as an illness now in the exact same location in the body. And I asked why, and they said because there's an energy blockage there, a major one. So, I mean, even though he had no idea the cause of the energy blockage, the body does. The body remembered, and the body is what manifested it. And what was interesting, too, about this is that the past life resonance created the energy blockage in that location. And he did have a contract to work through the karma and to heal that past life trauma in this lifetime. However, who got their hands on it? The Greys. The Greys picked up on the contract, and it was the Greys that manifested the illness. So they took the energy blockage and turned it into something completely different that wasn't actually supposed to happen. He wasn't even supposed to have this illness in this body, in this lifetime. So that blew my mind. So you can actually have past life trauma that the entities exploit and make it worse than it would have normally been. So you're not just healing the past life trauma, you're also healing the result of these psychic attacks, which has compiled the trauma to that particular part of the body. Wow. So when we're going through these layers of healing and these aspects, I mean, you must be explaining this to your doctor.
Even that's a new one for me. I haven't run into that one yet, but it's like, I ran into one just recently, as last week. The person's attachment was herself from another timeline. And I'm like, what? I'm like, that's so crazy. How do you separate you from you? And I'm like,
yeah, we help people with their disassociations because you can, like, for example, let's say you had experienced something when you were 5 years old that was extremely traumatic, and then you blocked it out. You don't remember what it was. You don't even know the trauma happened because you don't have the memory of it. But then you don't remember being 5. You don't remember what you went through in that time, but you still have the trauma. So going back, we reintegrate the 5-year-old that has disassociated, because we will literally see like a 5-year-old version of you wandering around in the astral connected by a cord. I mean, it's crazy. So we reintegrate that, and then all of a sudden a little bit of that trauma starts to come through. You start to remember a little bit of what you went through. And this kind of helps you to bring it to the surface to be called in for the shadow work, for the talk therapy, and whatever works for you to help release it and transmute it. So with hypnosis, you can also do that, right? You can go into the childhood trauma, the womb trauma, as we were also discussing. And how does one kind of, do we face it? Do we forgive? Do we accept it? Like, I'm just curious, once you find it, what do you do with it?
It depends on what it is. A lot of times it's having just like these realizations, or like a lot of times I'll shift consciousness from like the person into like, maybe it was with their mom. I'll have them like actually blend with their mom's energy, and they're like, oh my gosh, my mom didn't know what she was doing, and this is how she was raised. And and then as you can just feel the energy shift, because it like basically sets it free, because there's nothing to hold it in place anymore. With the womb stuff, it's pretty easy, because most of the stuff has nothing to do with the person at all, because you're pretty pure soul at that point. So maybe you're finding out that all my mommy wanted was a back rub, and now she's pregnant with you. Well, it could be a lot of things. You're gonna feel not wanted, even if she never says that. So it's clearing that energy that you took on, because you're like a sponge at that point. So
one of the craziest cases I found with the womb trauma is a twin absorbed their other twin in the womb. And that created womb trauma, because, I mean, their twin died in the womb, and their bodies kind of merged together. And when this happened, it created like a merge in consciousness. And it's like all they have different opinions too. It's like, so she'll like a guy, but her twin won't like the guy, so she won't know how she feels, because one minute she likes him, the other minute she doesn't. And so they were wondering, and I explained this to the client. I'm like, you might have a bit of a confusion in that regard, because, it's like a blending. It's like a soul braiding that occurred when this happened. And so you take on a lot of that. And so explaining this to the client, they were like, you have no idea how much this makes sense, because my whole life, it's like I've been arguing with myself. So, I mean, the context really helps people to understand why things are the way they are.
Did you clear that as an entity then? That other
she was found as a connection. Yeah.
I had that with me, but it was like my mom had a child before me that didn't come to term, and it attached to me. So I didn't know what was me and what wasn't. It was like, I thought it was all me, because that's the only arrangement I've known for my whole life. I just felt like it was this tug of war in my mind sometimes, but it was like, but it made so much sense then. Like, that's the thing with this. It's like all the pieces fit together. When you dive into this, like nothing contradicts itself. And that's what I love more than anything.
Mm-hmm. And we never know what we're going to expect, do we? Every day is something new and interesting and exciting, because we're constantly finding new experiences and learning new ways of doing this work.
Definitely. Yeah. I still feel like a caveman playing with fire half the time. It's like, oh, what is this? I'm like, oh, okay. Like, it's exciting. It's great for someone who gets bored easy, because like has never been the case.
Well, a lot of this work is unprecedented, because people brushed it off as nonsense.
Yeah.
And instead, you and I were like, oh yeah, this is fascinating. Like, let's get to the bottom of this rabbit hole. And then we just keep going deeper and deeper. And we find things that it never ends, does it?
No.
I don't think there is a bottom to this rabbit hole, personally. No.
Even if we could know everything, our minds, I don't even think could like make sense of all of it.
So. Our human brains would be smoking. I don't think they could handle it all. I don't think we're meant to know it all, because once you start getting down, certain aspects start getting even more confusing. Isn't it interesting how that works? Like, you start to think you figure out everything, and then the more you start to learn, you're like, I don't know shit.
Yeah. I learned one thing, I'm like, oh crap, there's 20 things I don't know now, because it just keeps expanding. I'm like,
this is why the galactics look at us like we're cute little children trying to figure out, how to tie our shoes here.
You figure out how to get a door open. There's 20 more doors, and you're like,
but this is what makes it fun and exhilarating, and what makes it so rewarding is just, you know, the excitement and the adventure in it all, but also the fact that we are really empowering ourselves through knowledge. Knowledge is power, right?
Yeah.
So the more we learn, the more we can't really be controlled like they wanted us to be. I can see why they turned off our Wi-Fi, you know. We're just in the middle of trying to get it to work again. So I know you've got to run in a few minutes, but I just wanted to drop your website one more time for everybody. It is Matt Schmidt, QH, right?
Yep.
All right.
.com.
QH.com.
What I find so fascinating is how like we've come together with such similar experiences and like, you know, parallel to each other, not even knowing, like we bounce off each other a couple times like along the way. And it's like, look what, I mean, it's like, look where it got us. And you know, it's just so cool to be on this journey with you.
We've been swinging from different vines and yet we still ended up on the same tree.
Get together, compare notes once in a while. And
yeah, exactly. So you do hypnosis online just as much as in person, I believe, yeah?
Yep. Yeah, no, the sessions I do are about 4 to 6 hours. That's pretty standard. I mean, we're going through like all the layers of this. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what I do anymore. Like it's a combination of energy work, shamanic stuff. Like, I mean, it's a mashup of basically everything I've learned to get a person where they need to get. So,
yeah. So if you guys are interested in exploring some of your past life stuff, if you have any health stuff that you'd like to have some of your questions answered, or to learn more about who you are on a soul level, I highly recommend hypnosis. Hypnosis is one of the best things that you can do for healing and for exploring consciousness. And you just want to make sure that you're doing it with somebody who knows what they're doing. And that is very clearly one of those people, which is why I wanted to make sure that everybody got to meet you.
Thank you so much, Laura, for having me on.
Pleasure, Matt. I look forward to our next conversation.
I know. I can't wait already. I can't wait for the next one already. So I just want to mention, too, I do have a lot of free resources on YouTube. All my classes and everything are now free on YouTube. So, like, I had a lady contact me the other day. Her brain tumor went away in 3 weeks just going through the self-healing videos I have out there. So you do have the power to do this. You don't need someone special to do this. Usually when people get stuck, then they come see me. But you can do a lot of this on your own. And if you can start working through some of the surface layers, you're just going to get more out of your process anyway. So
wonderful. One last question. Phoenix wanted to know, what is the cost of your sessions?
I currently charge $400 per session for the.
That's a very good rate, to be honest. There's a lot of QHHT practitioners that charge over even $1,000 for a session.
Yeah, I heard like
take all day. I mean, you know.
Yeah, I have a psychiatrist friend. Like she charges $330 an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty good deal, honestly. But I also want this to be accessible for everyone. So I don't know. Yeah. Been getting nudged to kind of raise it up. But I'm like, I'll just keep it for that.
No, that's wonderful price. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, if you guys have any questions, you can message Matt and check out his website. And if you guys have any questions, so save them for next time too. Because we'll definitely have Matt back on.
And I'll go through and try to hit up some of the questions. I saw a bunch pop up.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Laura. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Good to see you again. And everybody have a wonderful day. And I will see you guys for the solo chat tomorrow. Have a lovely day. See you soon. Bye, everyone.
Thank you guys.